think it's a very exciting time. All kind of manifesto periods are exciting because they invite, if you like, a revisitation. They invite us all to step out and look at the preceding period and go, where have we come from, what have we achieved, and where we're going forwards to. So that's, forces us to do that. And as part of that kind of thinking, for someone that was involved the last time around in helping the government set its digital, its tech policy. As part of that thinking, I think I've thought that all sorts of great strides have been made, and I think we discussed quite a lot of those in the sessions. But I wanted to be a little bit challenging, and I wanted to say, I guess the fundamental point is that there is a yin and a yang to digital. Okay, and I think latterly digital has become progressively associated with agile in particular. So particular software development techniques, as we know, that are very flexible, they're emergent, they're iterative, they're time-boxed. And that's terrific, and government IT definitely needs to get more like that. But the yang of digital, if you like, is, for want of a better word, and we all need a better word to understand this, but it's architecture. So the fundament of the original kind of Tory strategy, if you like, was all around open standards. The idea that rather than bespoking everything like bespoke suits, if we could actually bespoke a few things, but then progressively consume standard utility versions of things, just like everybody else. So, when you go onto Google, you don't care what version it is. When it was recently upgraded, you just use it. It's just on. And government IT needs to get a lot more like that. The other point I think I made is that if you start to pay more attention to that, we as taxpayers start to act a bit more like shareholders. So if you were a shareholder of a large group of companies, you would demand that those companies had a dialogue and shared common stuff where appropriate, talked about how they could, between them, converge on more standardized ways of doing things where appropriate. But obviously, all of those companies would have their own special thing that they did as well. And not only would you derive far better value for money, to the hundreds of millions, in the UK government's case billions, but you could also, of course, because of all that sharing and dialogue and discussion, you get a lot of innovation that comes out of it. In the UK, the government, if you like, behaves like, rather than the group of companies with shareholders demanding that they all kind of do these sensible things, it behaves as if each one of them was a separate company. And so we as citizens really need to start demanding that government behaves a little bit more like a lateral group and asserting more control. I think, was it Paul from the Cabinet Office? So I think I didn't know very much about what he was doing. I think he's looking at open data, which is fascinating. He sounds pretty energised by it. And I think I might go and actually have a chat to him about, I think open data could be enhanced a lot in terms of government strategy with a strategy for open architecture. So I've written a paper on open architecture. It's a kind of academic published journal. I've got a book coming out on it quite soon. Open data is great. You can do all sorts of stuff with open data. If you've got the open architecture to underpin it, you can really fly. So I might actually drop him a line, and that was very interesting.